I'm Bob Duchesne, Duchesne. Um, I helped create the Maine Birding Trail, it describes where to bird in Maine. I'm on the Maine Audubon Board of Directors here in the Bangor area, former Maine Audubon trustee. I guide all over the state, and I write for the Bangor Daily News, a weekly birding column called Good Birding.
Excellent. So the your most recent article on BDN actually is what caught our eye about this. Is it the red-bellied?
Red-bellied woodpecker.
Okay, so tell us about the red-bellied woodpecker and why seeing one in Maine is unique.
Yeah, it's an oddity. This is a woodpecker that typically is found south of here. If you were in the Florida Everglades, you would see this woodpecker on every palm tree. But it has a tendency to expand its range, and it's been doing that for decades now. It started to show up in Maine about 30 years ago, but it's spreading out, and so you're seeing more of them going further north. They have been in the southern Maine area relatively reliably for several years, probably several decades, but they continue to expand their range, and they're showing up down east and in northern Maine much more than they ever used to.
And why do you think that is?
It's two things. They are a bird that tends to expand its range anyway, but then you can throw in climate change, global warming, and saying the habitat is a little warmer. And since they are from the southeast of the United States, it is becoming more acceptable to them. So I think it's a combination of the two things.
So if I'm in my backyard, say in greater Portland area, it may not be quite as unusual to see one as, say, if I was in um, Bar Harbor or Bangor, for instance.
Correct. For the most part, they seem to have worked their way towards the Bangor area. I'm the same article in the Bangor Daily News has caught the attention of a lot of people because I'm starting to get emails and posted comments that are a little more excessive than what I usually get. So it has caught on. Took me by surprise.
What do you think it is about this particular bird and unusual birds perhaps being spotted in Maine that's really speaking to people?
Yeah, it's everyone I think is used to hairy woodpeckers and downy woodpeckers coming into their bird feeders, but one of these red-bellied woodpeckers takes people by surprise, especially as they change their range and they start showing up where they've never been observed before. And I think that catches people by surprise.
How do I know that I'm looking at a red-bellied woodpecker versus one that
Mhm.
you would have maybe always seen in Maine?
Yeah, this is a particularly badly named woodpecker. Uh, it barely has a red belly. The male has a bit of a red wash. Whoever named that bird probably shot it and named it from what he was holding in his hand. Um, but red-headed woodpecker was taken by another woodpecker, so that was out. So it got this red-bellied woodpecker name. Um, it is rather pale on the belly. It's got the ladder back zebra-shaped color on the top, and it's got a red crown. The male does. The back of the neck on a female is also red, but she doesn't have the red crown. And that's going to look different than the hairy and downy woodpeckers that come to your feeder.
So they look a little different. Is there anything else about these particular birds that make them unique woodpeckers in general? Not necessarily that they're, going farther and farther north, but are they unique just to the woodpecker bird?
I would say, as woodpeckers go, they're not unique. As I say, they're very common south of here. They just didn't used to be in Maine, and now they are. I think what makes them unique is they are probably the most vocal woodpecker I know. They have all kinds of different noises they make, and they make them all. They are communicating with each other constantly. So when you've got one in your yard, I usually hear it before I ever see it.
So the whole it could give a woodpecker a headache. Maybe that one gives its own woodpecker family a headache.
Yeah, sometimes you just wish they'd shut up.
Is there anything else you think is important to pass along to our viewers who are interested in this?
Very much so. This is a tendency for other birds too. We're seeing with climate change, birds moving north that used to be southeastern birds. Carolina wren is now well established. I mean, we're talking birds that have southern names. Carolina wren has moved into our area. Mississippi kite is just over the border in New Hampshire. That could be a Maine bird within the next 10 years. So we're seeing a lot of southern birds moving north, we're seeing no northern birds moving south. So this isn't normal. This is a reaction to something.